How are you doing today, Osa?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. You talked, good, thank you. You talked this week one about getting Tom Brady off the spot being the key that week. When you study Patrick Mahomes, what are the keys this week for creating disruption in his game?
Um, he's very good guy. Playmaking abilities through the roof. So just being disciplined is the main thing. Everyone just doing our job.
Going back to the Falcons game, several of the coaches talked about it being El's most complete game on defense. What was working so well, and particularly in the defensive line, to have a game like that when you're down guys like DeMarcus, Randy, Neville, and more?
Um, we feel in our room that it doesn't matter who's playing or who's not playing. Like everyone in our room has the ability to play. So the play style is really the main thing. So as long as we're sticking to the play style and just going and just just playing with relentless effort, then a lot of that stuff is going to take care of itself. So I think that's just coming from our group and the identity that we built in our room.
What was the emotion like in the locker room when Dan Quinn got one of the games off?
We're excited. He deserved it. Called a great game. So I think he was very deserving of that one.
How big is it for you guys to get a lot of pressure on Mahomes to kind of help out the secondary a little bit this week?
It's huge. Just trying to stay in his face, just make it a lot harder for him to do his job. You know, just being able to play complementary football there, just as far as the back end and the front end.
Oh, so Coach McCarthy was talking last week about the brotherhood bingo, and Anthony was telling us a little bit about it. What's that exercise like for the team, and have you ever been called up to share something with the group?
I haven't, not yet. Kind of when you walk in and you see that little ball machine in there, you get a little nervous. You kind of start thinking of like, if I were to get called, what story would I tell everyone?
Seems as you guys are a pretty close team. Can you recall a team in college or maybe even high school where you guys were just so close and the results were positive on the field as well as off the field?
Um, I mean, I'm a team guy. I feel like I like to, whenever I'm out there on the field, I like to be extremely close with whoever's to my left and to my right. So being able to come in and just be accepted like this is huge. I try and always build good relationships with my teammates. Can't say in my football career that it's ever paid off as much as it is now. This is the best team that I've ever been on in my life. So being here and just being on a team with guys as good as we have and not having to deal with any egos or anything like that, I'd say is probably the biggest thing. Guys came in and accepted me with open arms. Everyone was approachable, and they let me know that I was a member of this brotherhood from the day that I stepped in the locker room.
What have you learned about Chauncey Golston and just his road to the NFL as you've gotten a chance to know him? I know he's from Detroit and kind of comes from difficult means growing up. I was curious, have you had a chance to kind of get to know Chauncey in that way, and if so, your impressions of him as a player and teammate?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of gives you a little insight into just why he works so hard and why he grinds. He got people that depend on him as well, but it's always been something that he's been extremely dedicated to for himself. So it's just I'm happy that he's here. Proud to see that he's made it this far. We've all had to overcome something. So getting to hear his story just is cool, just because you can get to see a little insight on him.
Do you guys do a lot of that? Kind of each talking about your journey to the NFL, and if so, do you kind of appreciate how everyone, by and large, had a lot of adversity that they've overcome in order to get here?
Yeah, it makes it more worth it. Nothing worth it is easy. So getting to hear a guy's story and about how he got to come here is always interesting, and just kind of gives you a little insight into just how they act and why they are the way they are.
Yeah. When you get call that exercise? Do you guys just do it like in rookie meetings? Like, what's the layout there?
I mean, as far as learning about each other, you just have to have conversations with your teammates. That's the main thing. Brotherhood, the exercise that we do in the team, kind of forces it a little bit, but it's fun. You know, just getting to learn things about guys that you maybe haven't talked to before, you haven't gotten to have like too much of a conversation with, you know, because they got to come up and tell the whole team a story and just kind of give them their personal bio. So keeps it interesting.
Which part of your game do you feel like since you got here, or maybe even since the start of the season, do you feel like you've been able to develop as you know, your work has really paid off and you can sense your development in that specific area?
I feel like my hands are getting better. Just being able to rush the passers, coming together a little bit more. Just as we're working towards that and just constantly emphasizing that. So I think that's something that's been improving.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think has the best hands on the team in terms of defensive line?
It'd have to be D-Law or Randy, you know, just probably D-Law, I can't even lie. But just watching him pass rush, you can tell that it's natural. It's natural. He's not thinking when he's doing it. Something he's at a place that you have to have worked extremely hard and repped for hours upon hours and thousands and thousands and thousands of reps to get to the point where you could rush like DeMarcus Lawrence does, just as far as how he chain rushes and his activity is constant.
Mm-hmm. Is he pretty hands-on with you, so to speak, when it comes to like your hand work? Or I know he hasn't been able to practice obviously in a while, but how has his ability to use his hands the way he does rubbed off on you at all?
I'm just trying to take that same activity and just being able to, if one move doesn't work, just right into the next and constantly rushing. I think that's something that I just take away and kind of use that in my rush as well.
Three games in 12 days. Have you ever experienced anything like that, or do you have an idea of what exactly to expect from this period ahead?
I know it's going to be a grind. I know that if I was in college, we'd probably be practicing in full pads like every day in between those 3 games, and it would be a lot more difficult. But luckily, they take care of us here, and our coach does a really good job of taking care of our bodies and as far as scheduling and making sure we're going into each game fresh and healthy and 100%.
All right, thanks guys. We gotta run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.